Center late last night when it banned 59 Chinese apps, including TikTok, ShareIt, WeChat. The government has justified the crackdown, saying that these apps were banned over privacy issues. The official order says that apps were prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of the country, security of state and public order. This also marks the largest sweep against the Chinese, which is heavily dependent on India for revenues earned from these apps. For example, TikTok holds a 30% base in India alone. Arunima is with us. So, Arunima, we've been discussing this since morning. The way sometimes to have a battle with your opponent is to hit at them economically. Is that the real purpose? Is that the first step which is being taken towards them?
Ostensibly so. I mean, even though the press statement that was issued by the Ministry of Information Technology and Electronics did not mention Galwan, did not have any reference to the Indo-China tension. It focused on data privacy issue, on sovereignty issue. But off the record, government functionaries, government officials are telling us that post-Galwan, there was a movement of sort on social media. The hashtags demanding boycott of Chinese apps was trending. And before that also, intelligence agencies had flagged off that how TikTok, ShareIt, Shein, other of these websites were misusing data of Indian citizens. It was indulging in spying. It was wrongly transmitting data of users. So these were things that intelligence agencies had flagged off earlier too. And after Galwan, this decision was taken to go ahead and ban these 59 apps. Interestingly, in March this year, a specific question was asked by a member of parliament about TikTok, whether it has been flagged off for data privacy issues. And at that point, government had said that no such issue, issue has been raised at their level. But come June, come Galwan, I think the center has decided that this is the time to take action against all these Chinese apps. They're also hoping that after India has shown the way, world over other countries will follow suit, and with their combined might, Chinese economy will be forced to take note of the kind of sentiment that people have world over about their spying tactics. You know,
in fact, economic or a superpower like America also acknowledges the fact, Arunima, that the Chinese economic power is something which is spreading globally. And there is a sense that, as I said, I mean, you have to hit out and you hit out economically. TikTok, for example, you've also reported, Arunima, 30% base in the country. For many, it will be seen as only just 59 apps and not enough to take on China. But just to come back to the point which you've been making, is not just privacy issues. In fact, I'm going to focus on the privacy issues, Arunima. What are your sources in the Home Ministry telling you that this threat to our cyber security was this really real? And was China actually using it to build up their power base?
See, if you talk about data privacy, there are multiple levels on which it works. Most concern in India is about our financial data. If our bank account data is safe, if our password is safe, we think that we are safe. But then there are other issues as well. What the government is saying, what intelligence agencies are saying, that innocuous looking things about your preferences for food, about what time you really book a cab, if you're using TikTok, what is the kind of video, what is the kind of location, who are you sharing with, your other personal data on your phone, about your preferences, about your contact details. To you, it may seem innocuous, but if over a large database, China is constantly harvesting this data, it can be used to decide on consumer sentiments. It can be used to really compromise India's sovereignty as well and India's national interest. And without the knowledge of a user, leaking any data, wrongly transmitting any data is something that is not ethical. It's not allowed. And I think in the backdrop of Galwan, this decision has been taken that we can no longer allow Cam Scanner, for example, another app which has been banned. A lot of people are using it for scanning documents, thinking that their documents will be shared only with the people that they want to share. But if this is a sensitive document, if somebody who is in a position of authority is using Cam Scanner, we just don't know where the document might end up with. So the government is not willing to take any such risk, and hence this decision.
Yes, absolutely, Arunima. I mean, we use our Aadhaar card and all of that very often for a cam scanner, and all of us have been using it, and that is certainly, as you're now pointing out, a huge security threat. Thank you very much, Arunima, for putting that into perspective. Well, we're going to remain with Sino-India relations. Now, both of them are going to be holding a commander-level talks for the third time to discuss the border skirmish at the line of actual control, which has been going on for the past 57 days. Lieutenant General Harinder Singh, Major General Lin Liu will hold the talks in Shushul on the Indian side. The last two meetings were held on the Chinese side, which is Moldo. The two generals are going to carry forward the talks of disengagement. Roadmap has been agreed upon on the 6th of May, which had mandated that both armies step back a kilometer where they are eyeball to eyeball and de-induct troops and weaponry in the rear. But on the ground, nothing changed. Both India and China continue their warlike build-up on the respective sides of the line of actual control. Shreya is with us on this. Shreya, again, I mean, we are also saying that there has not been much of backing off. Will this be seen then by critics as a futile exercise, or we can look at some kind of a positive outcome, if not now, a little later?
Good morning to you, Pallavi, and to all our viewers. If the question that you're asking me, Pallavi, is are we expecting any breakthrough in this Corps Commander meeting, I don't think it is going to come. There have already been 2 rounds of Corps Commander meetings, and, a lot has been spoken about. But one thing is very clear, that China is refusing to budge as far as, some flashpoints are concerned, specifically Depsang Valley, specifically Pagang. So these are the 2 areas where they are absolutely unwilling to go back. While the roadmap that has been agreed upon is that where your soldiers are eyeball to eyeball, say 100 to 500 meters away from each other, the risk of an escalation in a situation like that, Pallavi, you will understand, is very high. Therefore, one of the things that was agreed upon is both troops will step back a kilometer. So this is some degree of disengagement. Now, this is something that has already been reported. This is something that has already been spoken about between both sides. But what is the situation on the ground? On the ground, the situation remains absolutely the same. Your soldiers are still eyeball to eyeball. Look at, after what happened at Galwan Valley on June 15th, there's a high degree of mistrust between both armies. There's a trust deficit. And for any side to go back without being sure that the other will do the same, till that is happening, I don't think you will see any level of disengagement. But most people say, even within the army, that while these talks are really not yielding the sort of results we thought they will, the fact is that you need to continue talking, because if you continue talking, at least your communication lines are open, and at least the threat of an escalation like the one we saw at Galwan Valley will not happen. So that is something that, that we are expecting today. One of the things that was being explored in the previous 2 Corps Commander meetings was, as a trust-building exercise, all the weapons and soldiers that we have amassed at the rear, not at the flashpoints, but in the rear to support them, tanks and artillery guns and extra soldiers, etc. The process of thinning down in the rear can start. Has that started on the ground after 2 Corps Commander level meetings? It hasn't. Will anything on the ground change after today's meeting? We'll have to watch. What I can tell you is it's going to be a very, very long meeting. Because the last one that happened on June 22nd, Pallavi, if you would remember, went on till 10:30 at night, almost 11 hours. This meeting is starting at 10:30 in the morning. For the first time, it is happening on the Indian side, which is Trishul. Otherwise, the previous 2 meetings, as you pointed out, had happened at Moldo. So this is in Indian territory that the meeting takes place. How long will it last? Very, very long is all I can say at the moment.
All right, and we are, of course, going to be keeping track of it, Shreya. Thank you very much. But also another important development today is that the Prime Minister is going